My name's Barbara Fairfield, and I teach ESL, English as a Second Language, at Pasadena City College. And also, I'm involved in a couple of ministries with international students.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So how long have you taught English at PCC then?
At PCC, I have been there since 2005. But prior to that, I also taught at a couple private schools.
Oh, okay.
And then I have also taught overseas in Japan. So my total teaching is about 25 years, I think. When I came back from overseas a long time ago, I was in property management for a while. So I was an apartment complex manager of a couple different complexes. And then after that, I started doing social services. So I was a case manager working mostly with homeless people, homeless families. Well, teaching is, I think it's more rewarding.
Okay.
Yes, because you're making an impact on people's lives, you know, helping them to get used to the culture and to learn language skills. So it's more rewarding.
Yeah, especially if you think about like international students, like how they are struggling when they come to US first, and they're like, oh, I don't know what to do, language barriers are there, but then like you help them to settle down. So I guess, yeah, I agree with that.
I think the most important thing is for students to think that it's fun, that they can enjoy learning, and that they think about it kind of like a game.
Okay.
So the game is, when you have a game, you have rules to play the game. So I tell my students grammar, because a lot of students think, oh, grammar is terrible, I don't like grammar, you know, blah, blah, blah. But actually, those are the rules for playing the game. So if I tell them, if you think about it like that, the better that you apply the rules, the better you'll be at the game. So that kind of changes their perspective. And then I also tell them, you have to make mistakes. If you don't make mistakes, you can't learn well. So don't be afraid of making mistakes. You make mistakes all the time, it's okay. Just you learn from your mistakes. So that way they feel more relaxed. Because I think that for myself, learning Japanese, learning Spanish, if I'm very uptight and I'm very like, oh, I have to learn and I have to be perfect, I can't learn.
That's true.
Yeah, but if I'm relaxed, I think of it's kind of game, it's kind of, I just have fun. If I make a mistake, at least I'm trying. Then my feeling is better, then I remember more and I do better. So I know that applies to students. I would say that if a student takes from the very, like, zero English, and they take, I would say within 1 year they should have some basic life skill level, but that's just an average. And another thing that's very interesting, if I can mention this, is that listening and reading are more passive, and productive is speaking and writing. So usually most people, the first level is you're going to understand more than you can speak, than you can produce. And you can read more than you can write, because it's production. So that's another thing, because people are like, I understand everything. You get to the point where you understand everything, but you're still going, I can't say what I want to say, right? But that's so normal. So if people know that, that's kind of adults' language development, then they feel more relaxed about it. Okay, yeah, of course I understand more, because even children learn that way, right? Then to produce it takes another level. So, yeah. I can, just because my ear is used to hearing so many different accents, and by the way, I have an accent too. We all have an accent. It's just different one, right? Usually I can tell by when somebody speaks English if they're Korean, they're Chinese, they're Japanese, because I know the difference. And I don't think those are difficult for me. But I will. Well, that's a good question too. I think grammar is really important because as we said, it's like the rules. So I think that, but I think learning, just learning the rules but not applying them is not that helpful. So that's why, like in the class, like when we explain, like say a grammar pattern, I want the students to practice it. I want them to practice it different ways, like writing it, reading it, listening to it, speaking, because that's how you're going to reinforce that pattern. But I think pronunciation is good too, especially when people are doing oral English and they want to maybe reduce their accent. For example, at PCC we have several pronunciation classes, free classes, and so I think students like that because they learn maybe some sounds that they need to practice more, and then they talk about how you put your tongue and how you put your mouth and your teeth. So I think it's useful. But if I had to choose, I would probably choose grammar.
Yeah, and also I like your example. Like play the game, you have to know the rules. Grammar is rules. So that's first step that you have to do it. Practice on grammar, and as we said, everyone has an accent. Don't get too stressed about it.
Exactly.
Learn the rules first, and go outside, try it,
Yes.
and get all of them together to have better pronunciation or something. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, I think just what we said is just try to relax, try to practice, enjoy. Don't take it too seriously, and don't worry if you make a mistake. That's okay. Just try to communicate, and most people I think are pretty nice about it. Sometimes you might meet someone who isn't very, they're frustrated because they can't understand, but you just have to put that aside and say, okay, that's just that person, and I'm going to keep trying no matter what, and I'm going to get better. So I think that's the best advice. Try to just enjoy it. Yeah.
Okay. Play the game.
Yeah, play the game. Yeah, play the game.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
Okay.